Hey everyone, it's February 2020. Welcome. I'm Rob Booker. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational and educational and is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. And if you desire personal financial advice, please consult your financial advisor. It's wonderful to be with you. Glad to be here. I have changed some things around. Every month, we're going to get better at everything that we do. And this month, I have what's called the Big Doc, and it's full of links. Now, I'm adding more links today, but I've already got the doc started. It's at robbiebooker.com/big links. It's an easier way to get all the links we use to indicators, watch lists, and more. That way, the beginning of our slide presentation is not complicated with lots and lots of stuff. So here's what it looks like: the indicators, the slides, the bounty spreadsheet, and more. So all those links you saw in the beginning of the January coaching doc, like, the coaching video lessons and everything, those are now going to go inside of this big document of links, which will make it super easy. That way we don't need to spend any time working through a lot of slides at the beginning of the deck. As a reminder, here's what we do here. Coaching is the highest level training, analysis, and trading that I do. Our highest goal here is to deploy the right strategy at the right time to get the right result. So there's a lot of teaching and education, but everything really comes second to prioritization, meaning we're only going to try to worry about or think about the most important stuff at the right time, and then we'll ignore everything else. So for people who are sort of like strategy collectors, this coaching program is really frustrating, and none of you fit into that. But, the reason you're here is because you want to make money. And I think January proved that when we focus, we make money. So we're going to continue to focus. So in February, here's our focus. We are going to continue to plan the $57,000 trade. Our first one will be probably the UVXY, and $57,000 is really just a goal. It could be less than that. It could be more than that, but that's the goal. And I am constantly in the back of my mind on the lookout for trades that have the potential to move to a $57,000 profit target. Number two, we're going to master the 4 phases of a trade deployment: the recon, the deployment, and so forth. We're going to book a meeting time and place in Houston, Texas. That should happen within the next couple of days. And I'll just set aside a meeting time and place. I'll send out a link. You can RSVP. It could be 1 of you. It could be 4 of you. It could be 20 of you. It could be all of you. Doesn't matter. We'll meet together, and we'll get together, and we'll stream our conversations live, and we'll have a great time. Also in February, I'm going to trade a small $2,000 account, and I'm going to try to get it to $2,200, and I'm going to try to grow that 2K account this year. I don't know what I'm going to get it to, and I don't really, I don't want to lose the 2K trying to do something crazy with it. Or maybe I do, and we'll find out. That's coming very soon, because today I think we have a trade that I can take inside of that account, and I think Tastyworks has my entire deposit, I think, has made its way into my account. So we can start trading with a small $2,000 account. And then we're going to talk about the big FX trade, levels and inventory. I'll talk more about that as we go. So the first question on my mind that I want to cover is, will February be like January? And the answer is, in some respects, yes. The volatility is still here. The market's still potentially going to go crazy. And that's a good thing for us. Volatility is good. And I think there are some trades that we're planning that are just going to be spectacular. And so I think to a certain extent, February is going to be like January. And to a certain extent, it's possible that March is going to be like January. But at some point in the near future, the market will slow down again in stocks. And we may move ourselves over into more FX trading, or I don't know what, maybe smaller cap stocks that have the tendency to move a lot. But I just want you to know January was great. And February is possibly going to be another great month. But there will be a string of months or weeks that are slow or boring, where nothing's happening and there's no trades going on, or our trades are just lingering. Remember when we did our testing, we would kind of move forward through 2 weeks of time sometimes, and a trade wouldn't really move anywhere. So just be ready for that. Today, we're going to check out our new bounty spreadsheet. I'm going to announce the first winner. Someone's trade made it into the Monster Trades monthly report, and I'm going to give that person $500 today. I'm probably going to take a trade from that report within the next 2 days, and someone else, possibly, if that trade is a winner, is going to make $500. We're going to look at UVXY and LABD. We're going to take a look at the pound, and we're going to talk about the schedule for this month. So to start things off, I just want to move over here to the spreadsheet and show it to you and say good morning. And then I want to move back over here. So I want to encourage you to be careful with the spreadsheet. This morning at around 7:36 a.m., an anonymous user, one of you, changed every symbol in the spreadsheet to ZBH. Every single symbol changed. So I just want you to be careful when you update the spreadsheet, and be careful. And you can always use the undo command if you do something and regret it. I restored the spreadsheet to a previous version. So if you were the one that updated the spreadsheet and you added ZBH or something else, it's gone. And any updates you made within the last hour most likely need to be done again, because I had to restore the spreadsheet to a previous version. So please be careful with the spreadsheet. And thank you. I'm thrilled that we're working together on it. We can always restore it if something goes wrong, so we're not going to panic about anything. But it was kind of funny to log in and see that every symbol had been changed. So let's look at the trading platform here at Tastyworks. I'm just going to make sure that I can actually log in and that my $2,000 has hit the account. Let's see how much money I have available in trading capital. I don't even know how to see it. Let's see here. I have the mobile platform on my phone as well. Wow, you really, this web-based version of the platform is kind of lame, but that's fine. Whatever. We'll figure it out in a minute. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to show you a watch list that I have. It's called Healthy Companies, Broken Stocks. A long time ago, we looked for companies that have earnings and low amounts of debt, but their stocks were falling. And I want to just show you what happened to a bunch of these financial instruments after we did our analysis. Look at Agile Therapeutics. This went from $1.05 up to $3.91. So even after we found it, it was pretty crazy. Here's BGS Foods, B&G Foods, still actually a possible buy trade. A bunch of insiders are buying that. Look at CHRS. Not much happened there. But as you get through here and you look at some of these, some of them are still possible trades. This is NBRV. Check this out. Bullish divergence, 2 bullish profit circles. And I would guess if we go to Open Insider, NBRV might have some buyers, which it does. In September, some insiders, the CEO bought a 50,000 share purchase and a director bought 10,000 shares. It's pretty genius. So NBRV made it into our slides. So it looks like a buy trade, and so does TRXC for the same reasons, but we're just waiting for a profit circle. Would like to wait for a bullish profit circle. So we're going to get to UVXY and a bunch of other things and a bunch of questions and so forth today. But what I want to do is I just want to log into Tastyworks and I want to take a trade. So I'm going to go trade, stock, see if I can even do this, NBRV. All right. So this is the options. I don't want the options. I want the stock. And I want to buy to open. That's great. And I want to buy 100 shares. That's going to cost me $135. And I want to send. So I should be, your order has been placed. Great. So I should be getting into this trade. All right. Let's get down to our $57,000 watch list. Now, I've already answered this question, but I'm going to answer it again because I love you. What do I mean when I'm talking about a $57,000 trade? Now, I've said this on our webinars, but I'm going to say it again. This could mean it's a $570 trade for you. It could mean that it's a $5,700 trade for you. Don't take me so literally. Call it a big trade. Maybe we should be calling it a big trade. Remember, it's just a big trade. It's just bigger than the other trades we take. It's just a rarer trade that has more potential. And it's an instrument that has the tendency to, or the ability to move up 100% or fall 20 to 30% within a short period of time. These are the stocks that give us the potential for a pretty substantial payoff. For me, or for anyone with a $10,000 or larger account, it could be a $57,000 trade. That's absolutely something that's possible. For someone with a $1,000 account, it might be a $5,700 trade. Or it might be something smaller than those numbers, but it's still the same, is a trade that has the potential for a significant payoff. So you don't have to worry about taking it literally or whatever. It's just a trade where when we look at it and we take it, you're going to watch me talk about making $57,000 in my account, and we'll talk about risk and sizing and whatever else for a variety of other sized trading accounts. So you don't ever have to worry that, it's just a bigger trade. And it's the same rules that we've talked about in the past. Back in January, we actually described a $57,000 trade as the stock that's able to move 100% up in a short period of time, or historically has been able to drop by 25 or 30% within a short period of time, less than 2 weeks. Dow stocks then are automatically out. This leaves small caps with plenty of volume and also specialized products like the UVXY. All right. So today we're going to spend some time looking at a bunch of stuff, but I want to start with the UVXY. Still long the UVXY. I'm up $4,305 on that option. The UVXY is staying reasonably strong today, which is awesome. I'm also long LABD through a call option. I already took half of my profit off the table, and now I have $365. On Friday, it was up as much as $625, I believe, and I was tempted to close it, but I've decided, nope, I want to see if we can get this $13 call to get to $1,000 gain, the rest of this trade, so I can, pump up the gains a bit. This is still doing well. Like LABD is still bullish, looking really good. We haven't even reached the missed pivot point for the month of December, which is at $15.59. And I would guess that we are going to eventually see that number. Now, I also have a couple of other trades. I have a call option on HOME. I only bought one contract because for Fritz and others with small trading accounts, I was mimicking the use of just one contract. I really don't want to change this trade or take this trade off. I still think this has significant potential, and so I'm leaving it. And I'm also in an EWI trade. I'm down $1,220 on the $29 EWI put. Now, EWI traded below $29 last week, and it's still below $29. Now, why is this trade not profitable for me if this is below $29? That's because I overpaid for the option in the first place. And however, this is potentially going to fall a significant additional amount. And so I'm keeping the trade for now. I also have a number of stock positions which are listed inside of our document. I'm long Nokia, which reports earnings this week at $5.30. I'm long GTE at $1.12, ONTX, DS, NLS, and Club. And I'm keeping all those trades for now. And I'd rather spend some time looking at some potentially new trades rather than hash out anything on the charts here because I'm not changing anything. So I'm going to take a look at your questions and then I'm going to jump into our spreadsheet. Polly says, please review how you set profit targets, the role of support and resistance, especially when price is below $2 or S2 or R2. Please illustrate with the MO puts. Great question. So here's MO. So what I do is, let's start with the trade itself. So I see this profit circle and I go, I want to be a seller of the Altria Group, MO. So I buy some puts. Now I'm going to do two different things here, Polly. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question, is this a $1,000 trade or is this a $57,000 trade? If it's a $1,000 trade, it's a stock that is a giant company that doesn't move 20 or 30% within a week or two. So it's not going to be a giant trade. It just can't move far enough for me to actually get the volatility to produce the profit that we're talking about there. So what I do is I plan $1,000 trade, which means I take a position and I'm just trying to make $1,000, and I'm not going to rehash the entry and the trade size because we did that on our webinars already. What I will rehash is, how do I know when the trade is done? I want to encourage you to start thinking of your trades in managing your trades according to numbers, meaning look at the profit and loss and don't look at the chart. Because if you look at the chart, it can start to encourage you to get out too soon or stay in too long. And so the first question that someone asks about a profit target is, where's my target? And it's like a physical location on the screen. But for me, it's really just $1,000. And so if MO fell only a little bit and got to $1,000, it would be reasonable to close the trade because I got what I asked for. I did what I came to do. Now, if you want to look at the chart, you can use these missed pivot points. But the pivot points to begin with aren't a necessary and required destination. It's just a goal. So we just know that MO wants to move toward the pivots, but we don't need it to actually get there. All we really need for this trade was, we just needed $1,000. And I would take, as with everything else that we talk about, I would take less than that. I would be happy with $600 or $700. We're not going to, how do I want to phrase this? We want to be playful and flexible. We don't want to be so tightened up that we can't manage a trade because we're just kind of out of control, uptight. S2 and R2 don't really have anything to do with profit targets on Altria. I never even plot them on this at all, and I don't really even care. It's just kind of irrelevant. And the more I look at this chart, the more I want to start talking about the RSI and pivots, but none of that stuff really matters. Like, oh, the RSI is oversold. Well, the RSI can stay oversold for 3 weeks if it wants to. All that really matters is that we set the trade up, and when we set it up, I took enough options on the trade that I thought I could make $1,000. And we used options profit calculator to kind of get a look at trade sizing and potential for profit. And we'll do that again when we plan some trades. Alan says, can we bring a significant other to Houston? Of course. And it would be an honor to meet them, and they would be most welcome and would love to have you. All right, so we're going to look at a bunch of stuff. All right. All right, so I'm I'm going to take a look at ONTX now. If it's still on the list here, then I'm still in it. And there's once again, I want to encourage you to once you're in a trade, I want to encourage you to just look at the numbers, not look at the chart anymore. Looking at the chart is for me anyway, what it turns into is me second guessing things. Either ONTX has made a lot of money or it's losing some money. And I just don't want to look. So here's what I would do with ONTX. Because yes, I am still in the trade. I have 2,000 shares. I bought these shares for 33, 34 cents, I believe, maybe 29 cents. I don't remember. About 2,000 shares at 31 cents. I'm up $7.60. It hasn't reached my profit target. It hasn't moved where I want it to go. I don't need to spend any time on it. Okay. What I want to look at is this amazing spreadsheet that you all helped to put together. So either your name is Gabriele at Dexlin.com or your name is Jay Nichols or both, but you're the winner. So Gabriele Lenga, you are the winner. I used NVT in my Monster Trades report, and so I'm going to send you $500 today. If I take your trade and it wins, I'll also send you $500. So if I ever use your trade for Monster Trades, I will generally give you credit and I will pay you. And if I take the trade and it's a winner, I will give you $500, which is roughly going to be half of whatever the profit is. So congratulations. And what I'd like to do today is I'd like to look at a bunch of these because there are a ton of these posted inside of the document. So thank you so much for participating in this. Keep these coming. There's a lot on this list, and that's amazing and wonderful, and it's welcome, and I'm super happy and very excited. So, Doug, I'm going to just concentrate on sort of two people today, and then every day we'll kind of take a look at others. Well, I'll do Mark, Doug, and Fritz, and we'll just work up from the bottom. So, Fritz, let's start with Western Digital Corporation. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful, but we're really looking for two profit circles. Now, you might have two profit circles on yours. Oh, it's not listed. So there's one. And so I am automatically going to wait on Western Digital, but it's a great one that seems like it's coming soon. JD. JD.com, Chinese company. You got to imagine that if this virus thing gets worse, that this is going to fall. I'm going to wait for one more bearish profit circle on that one, but it otherwise looks beautiful. Doug posted CI and said we had two bearish profit circles or two profit circles. Wow, that's amazing. That is a beautiful looking chart. Now it's already dropped from here. And so what I'd like to do is see if Cigna can jump up a bit. Now, Cigna is a great example of a company that's not going to move 100% upward, right? So the last time it had a jump upward, it moved from 155 to 204. It didn't move from 155 to 300. And when it drops, it has the potential to move, I'm going to guess, just a small amount. So it prints two bearish profit circles. It jumps up, which I would expect it to do next, Doug. And then it drops from 222. Holy crud. A bearish trade could be pretty great. But remember, it's got to do that within a reasonably short period of time. So it dropped from 220 down to 180. That's a 20% move plus. So Cigna has the potential to actually be a pretty great trade, even more than $1,000 trade. This is pretty cool, Doug. I'd like to see this go up first because that's what Cigna tends to do after it prints two bearish profit circles. This one is definitely going to go on our list. So what should I do here? I'm going to put this in the webinar today list. And I'm going to delete every single symbol from that list. And we're going to go ahead and put Western Digital, JD. Thanks, Fritz. We're going to put CI from Doug. And let's keep going. SYY. I'm going to put your name in here. Wow. I guess we missed it, didn't we? Oh, Doug, that is an awesome. I mean, just for the record, and Doug, this is not a criticism of this is just a compliment. This is awesome. It had two bearish profit circles, multiple divergences, earnings. I mean, everything. Holy smokes! This is absolutely stunningly beautiful. You could have gone ahead and taken this trade on your own, and you may have. You may have done that, but I'm going to remove it from the list, and I'm going to highlight the row and just say this trade is done. But that's beautiful. Mark posted wall. Really? Western Alliance Bancorp. That's just absolutely beautiful. I would love another bearish profit circle. So I'm going to wait on that. But I'm going to put your name on this bridge, on this. So that in the future, if we pop it back up later for a different reason, you still get credit. Does that make sense? VBTX. There's another Mark M. Oh my gosh, that looks glorious. Wow. And they just reported earnings that were worse than expected. Oh my gosh. I would say this one, there's a green light for that one, right? So why don't we just jump on over to, we might as well just look it up here. VBTX. All these insiders are selling. Look at this. They're all dumping shares. Look at that. I mean, they're not dumping a substantial amount of their holdings, but in some cases they are. That's looking better and better. Let's go to Yahoo Finance. So I'm just trying to get to the homepage of Yahoo Finance. And hopefully I will still be logged in, which I am. VBTX. There we go. Looks like fair value according to Yahoo Finance. It's got an upcoming dividend. So let's see here. Been paying a dividend for a year. Not much of a past history. That was basically irrelevant information that doesn't help us at all. Look at the statistics here. How are they doing? Current ratio not available. They have revenue. They have a return on assets. They have a profit margin. They have cash. They have $850 million in debt. Well, it's a pretty nice looking company, but all those insiders sold it recently. I think that this is a completely reasonable Let's just look. Has it in the past dropped on bearish profit circles? Well, it has, and it's dropped nicely. It looks like one of those stocks that might need a little more time to do that, but it looks like the kind of stock that does it. So what I want to do here is I want to look up VBTX. I'm going to look at options. I want the April ones. I want to give this plenty of time. 45 cents for the $25 puts. That's kind of far away. The $30 ones are kind of expensive, but they're already in the money. I wonder what the spread here. Spread's not bad. It's not a bad spread. Bite. Sure. Buy 10 of those for $2,600. Done. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go long put VBTX. Current price is $28.48. I bought the April $30 for $2.60, and I bought 10 of them. So let's calculate where this could go. Now I'm going to do a profit and loss in value. So if this can fall to, by the beginning of March, if this can fall to $28, I will still be losing $30. If it falls to 27, I make 200. It really has to fall to $26 for me to get into the $1,200 range that quickly. So we really needed to go down to this missed pivot down here. I'm going to set an alarm just so I know that it's moving. I mean, it has in the past, within a pretty short period of time, been able to drop, even from $25 down to $22, $3 or so. So $3 is not a overly substantial move. That would get us all the way to the profit target that we need to make about $1,000. A little bit less would be fine. A little bit more would be fine. Now I traded 10 contracts, and I'm going to try to make $1,000. You could trade one contract and try to make $100. Or you could trade 100 contracts and try to make $10,000. Whatever. But there you go. Mark, let's look at another one from your list. So I'm going to make this row green because I took the trade. Mark also published KEM and ALNY. That's beautiful. This is a really good learning chart. KEM looks a lot like BITA, which just went sideways forever. They look really similar. They never moved anywhere. So KEM will come off the list because something is amiss. For some reason, it's just all the volatility has come out of this. It may move a lot, but it's not moving enough. So we'll go back over to ALNY. And I'll bold anything that we looked at together. There we go. So we've looked at those. And let's go back to ALNY. Now this is kind of going sideways as well, but at least it's not oversold. My computer's now kind of freezing up a little bit. Earnings coming up, 2 bearish profit circles, kind of sideways movement here. We have traditionally been able to rise or fall after multiple profit circles. It doesn't print multiple profit circles very often. Oh, it did it here, and that certainly was unfortunate. It does tend to gap sometimes. So the movements there, I think this merits a little bit more research. Okay. Wow, this is fun. Doug, I know you've got a few others up above, Jeff and Brian and everyone else. I know you've spent some time posting some in here as well. And I'm super excited to dive in deeper into a bunch of these. But for now, what I want to do is I just want to take a moment, take some questions, and tomorrow what we'll do is I'll pick a few more from this spreadsheet that I really like, and we're going to do some training. So I'm now in NBRV, so I need to maybe just plop it in here, even though it's not a. I'll get a. I'll update my watch list of trades I'm in. I'll get that updated. Okay. So Richard says IBN finally dropped. Nice. Yeah, that's a really nice looking chart. Um, it's not even oversold yet. Yeah, the puts are a lovely idea, but I'm not ready to really pull a trigger on that. So I'm gonna just maybe wait on that, Richard. Sean says, how do you set stop losses and options? First of all, this is a great question. So what we do is, let's say that I'm in EWI. The way that most people set stop losses, of course, is they draw a line across the top and they say, if it breaks this line, I'm getting out. That's not a bad way, even with options, if it breaks that line. Number two, though, it's really about a dollar amount. So if I'm down $1,000, I begin the process of pulling the trigger on the close. And I can let it go more than that. Like 1% of my total available trading capital is like $5,000. So theoretically, I could let it go that far. But I'm always in these sessions going to take losses between $1,000 and $2,000, and I'm really going to start questioning the trade at $1,000. Now, the numbers are going to be different for you, and we've talked a little bit about this, but for every $10,000 in your account, the maximum acceptable loss in a trade is between $100 and $200, really. So it's really something you look at. Now, how do you put it in there? I don't put any stop losses in the platform. If the market gaps or whatever, it's not going to matter that I had the stop loss in there anyway. I just look at it once a day, and then I make a decision while we are here together. So you're going to watch me do it. So instead of sort of, oh, I plugged it into the platform and it's all taken care of, I don't outsource or whatever the job of managing the trade, because I don't necessarily want to get out just at a exact number. I want to talk about it. I want to look at it. I want to say, well, listen, are the same reasons? Do the same reasons for taking the trade exist now? And so forth. And same goes for break even. So I might log in and see that my trade, it was up $100, and now it's down $100, and now it's at $0. And so on the day in the session, I might say, I'm going to go ahead and take 0 win, zero loss. Jason is up 50% on Altria. That's wonderful. That's great. It's probably reasonable to take some money on that. So what about FXI? So I'm loath to trade this now, because not because it's too volatile or because of the virus. It just isn't setting up a trade. There's no trade here. There's no two profit circles. It's already passed. Any opportunities that would have existed are already out. So I'm not unhappy with trading this. Just no, there's just no trade right now. But otherwise, would be happy to take a trade. Oh, VBTX option interest is very low. So I neglected to look at that. So let's look at bar chart. I really should have looked at that ahead of time. Wow, there's this one. The $30 calls have a lot of open interest. It's probably because of dividends, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. All right, I do want to take a look at the FX market today, and we're down below. So, am I going to add to my trade? Now's the time to do it. So, yes, I'm going to pull up Oanda here. It's trading at 141.52. My trade is up $99 right now. And I'm going to look for pound yen. And how much did I sell before? 25,000 units. And pound yen. I could just log into my, you could just see it. I don't know why I didn't think about that. My kids name my trading accounts, by the way, in case you're wondering. Okay, should be, there we are. So this, I have to change this to the pound yen Oanda chart, which is going to make all of my lines disappear here. And I'm going to trade it. I'm going to create a new order. I'm going to sell it. I'll add 25,000 more. Filling the order is against the FIFO requirement. Okay, here we go. 20,000. There we go. And now I'm short 45,000 units. And let's look at some profit targets. 137.43 is perfect. There we go. Thank you, Allie. The day trader rule does apply to options, and we hold our trades overnight, so it doesn't really matter. So it never really comes into play. And you can always open an account at another broker and have two different accounts and then take twice as many trades, and you're fine. Lauren asks a really great question. Lauren says, I find that the point of having open interest of plus 300 really restricts what I can get into. It's a good question. It can be less than that. Um, and we really want the more we look at like the $1,000 trades, the more we actually learn we want to have like 60 or 90 days out, and that's going to necessitate some reduction in open interest or whatever. Okay, we got a lot of brand new instruments in our spreadsheet. Just want to add brand new trade. um, So I now own, right? I own NBRV. I own 100 shares at like $1 something. I own 100 shares at $1.37 a share. And now I have an options trade on it's just VBTX. And I bought, I mean, if it filled, right? The $30 April 17th put. Now you can see it says my account is down $2,800. That's just off the highs. Remember, it's actually up like $7,000 since last Monday, but that's just off the highs. Okay, back to VBTX $30 April put. And my trade price here was $2.60. Okay. Once again, the big document with all of our links is in the process of being created at robbiebooker.com/big links. It's an easier way to make sure you get all the links, including I'll drop in there the Telegram Messenger stuff and little notes about how to get that installed. Just makes it a little bit easier. Fritz, why is the pound yen good for a bearish trade? All right, let's look at this. So we've been following this for a while, right? We've been looking at this together for weeks, like long time. We've been looking at this a whole bunch. So here's what we looked at. We looked at a shoulder, a head, a shoulder, and then we drew a neckline here. And we talked about the fact that if it could drop below and stay below this neckline, which it's doing right now, that it would have the potential to drop significantly farther. Now, the rule of thumb for head and shoulders patterns is that the distance that it drops below that neckline will be equal to the distance of the head to the neckline in the first place, which potentially takes us down into the 135 even area, 600 pips lower than where we are right now. So technically speaking, it's a beautiful trade. Fundamentally, let's have a conversation very quickly about Brexit. Brexit has traditionally weakened the pound, worries about Brexit. Now, that may change over time. Brexit may turn out to be the greatest thing that ever happened to the British economy. But typically, generally, talk about Brexit or worries about Brexit have been bearish for the pound. So it's a fundamental plus technical trade that looks really nice. And that's it. Yeah, and there's also, your good point, Fritz, there's a ton of resistance up there at the top too. We're not able to burst above this sort of shoulder line right here at 144.50. Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to do a bunch of training. We're going to just take one financial instrument from our 57K list, and we're going to get training. We're going to look at it. We're going to trade it. We're going to manage the trade. We're going to trade it as if it was a small account. We're going to trade it as if it was a larger account. We're going to look at the movement and everything else together. So very much looking forward to that. Thank you so much, everybody. Happy February to you. Hope you and your families are doing well, and I will see you tomorrow.